So all of this content that we've gone through so far has been great, right? We can get access to this to make me more productive, but in some cases you just have to go out and ask somebody a question. That's why we have the support and chat resource here. This resource allows me to chat with people internally to my company and even get access to experts out there. Within the Pinnacle series, we have experts on staff be able to answer your Autodesk questions, through a chat system, email, and phone. You have unlimited access to that support system there. Now internally though, we can basically chat internally with a peer within your firm. So in my case, I'm looking for somebody that has expertise in Civil 3D. I'm going to go here to Drew. He's an expert on Civil 3D. I'm going to ask him a question. And real quickly, I'm just going to chat with him. Are you there? Everybody understands the chat mechanism. That's a no-brainer. A couple things that we can do in here that's very nice. One, we can send images back and forth, and we can mark up those images. For the sake of time, I'm not going to actually show that since we're running a little bit late here. And additionally, you can send links back and forth. So if Drew asked me a question, and you know what? This cheat sheet right here was a perfect answer for that. I can just copy that right to the clipboard, reuse this content basically, and it's going to give me the ability to send that link right over to Drew in this case and reuse that content. So here is the link you should use. Paste that in, and now he has a hyperlink to that. So think of you in a CAD or a BIM management type role and you're getting all those questions over and over again. You can send links to that content, save yourself time, but still give a valuable answer to them. And then lastly, you can save these chats. Nothing better than not doing any extra work and capturing knowledge. So as you have this conversation going, go ahead and save those chats. And they're all searchable, they're accessible right here in the chat logs area. And they can even be converted into cheat sheets. So support and chat there, this is your kind of lifeline. If you need to ask somebody a question, you can go right there to support and chat. All right, moving right along here, now we're getting into learning paths. So everything before, you were on a project, in the middle of it, you were stuck and you needed help to be more efficient, more productive. Now we have this thing called learning paths. This is structured training, curriculum, courses, quizzes, all of that is kind of encapsulated in learning paths. So we have the ability in here to enroll into different courses, everything from beginner to intermediate to advanced courses. And you can self-enroll. So me as a user, I can say, you know what, today I need to take an advanced course potentially on Revit fabrication. And I can give myself a due date if I would like to, but I can go ahead and enroll myself into that course. And here are my current enrollments. Now, additionally though, as a manager, you can go ahead and assign people into these courses. So if I wanted to go ahead and enroll a different user into a course, as a manager, I have the ability to assign these courses, give due dates, there's email notifications that get sent out, but basically I'm saying, hey, individual user or potentially, hey, group of people, I want you to take the course on Navisworks to get up to speed on that. But these don't have to only be public courses. We have courses that we've built out of the box here that you can use, but you still have the ability to create your own internal custom learning paths so that you can create your own things. We have organizations now that are taking these learning paths and doing everything from AutoCAD training to Civil 3D training to safety courses, sexual harassment courses. Things like that can be basically documented into these courses. And as the user, as that end user, I can come in here and I can begin these courses. I can walk through all of the pieces of content that make up this class or this course. In my case, this is just 4 here. I can walk through these steps. This one happens to be a video. Now we're taken here to a quiz, but all of this is being tracked. So you notice here I have a viewing time that'll start counting up when I take the quiz, and it's going to keep track for me of how long I've watched this video and all that. As I go through and take these courses, all that information is tracked in the system. So me as the end user, I can come in here and run a transcript for myself, and I can see I've completed one course, I've dropped another. If I had any that I actually started keeping track of my data, it would say it's in progress. And I can view my transcript and even print off certificates of completion to take potentially to my boss to say to get on a career path, to advance my skills and advance my career. Or potentially even, I need to get some PDH hours, those professional development hours. I need to get some credits on that. I can take these certificates and use those to apply for those credits. Now, from the management side of things, what better than reviewing reports on what type of training my people are going through? And I can see, what are the current enrollments, what's late, what hasn't been started yet, what are the completed courses out there, and I can drill into the details, get to the raw data, and I can now track, basically, the training and the learning that's actually happening within my company. So this is a nice way, basically, to take this idea of e-learning to the next level, and it's a structured approach to be able to assign, enroll, and to track training that's going through your organization. Okay, by my watch here, we have 2 minutes left in this presentation, and I basically have 1 minute left of material, and we'll go through some questions very, very quickly. Okay, so there's no outstanding questions here on this last tab. This is favorites and history. So this is my favorite content that I like to use. Right-click and add that to my favorites. Here's my history. This is what I've gone through today, yesterday, last week. This takes me right into viewing other reports as well. Not only are learning paths tracked in the system, and you can see what courses people are completing, but you can also see what people are searching on in Pinnacle. What content are they consuming? So what how-to videos are they watching? What cheat sheets are they using? Who's creating content in my organization? All of this is trackable as well, so now I can basically use this information to help my organization out. Top searches are a great example of this. In my firm, detention pond is being searched on all of the time. Why is that? Is that because we're having a problem around detention ponds and I need to do a lunch and learn around that? Is that because, we have a bunch of new people in here, I put them onto a project and there's a detention pond in there and they're just struggling with that. And it kind of illuminates for me as the manager of what's going on in my firm. In a lot of cases, you don't know this knowledge. You can ask people, but here's a way to basically track that raw data. In the end, when you think about the Pinnacle series, this is a platform that's delivering to you a whole bunch of Autodesk materials, training content, best practices, cheat sheets, videos, learning paths. It's all built into this one system. And the nice thing about this is we want to connect your users to answers. There's a big problem out there where people are going through on an everyday basis and they're working on these projects and they're getting stuck. They're getting frustrated. They're asking somebody else and then you have two people stuck on the same problem, taking more billable time away. We want people to have a very simple answer. When I get stuck and I need help, I need training, I know where to go. I go to the Pinnacle series, I search for my answer in there, I potentially communicate with somebody else through this system so it's trackable, and I get my answer to my questions very quickly through this system. That's truly the point of the Pinnacle series, to make it quick and easy. Now, we're at the top of the time frame here, 45 minutes into this. I do apologize for running late right away here, and I apologize. I had to run very quickly through support and chat and through learning paths there. But hopefully you got the idea. The purpose of today, we wanted to give you a nice overview of what this system is. When you get into it deeper, get in contact with your Microdesk sales rep. They'll be able to get a technician, a person on the phone with you to go through a much thorough conversation here, answer your questions on that, and see if this is a good fit for your organization. So with that said, there's a few questions out here, Brittany, that I can get to very quickly if you'd like me to. Otherwise, obviously, I know you have something to wrap up with.
No, yeah, go right ahead, Steve.
Okay, so let me get to some here. So one question here pretty early on. If you have documents already set up and existing, can Pinnacle access these, or do we need to enter them into the system separately? Great question there. I kind of answered it halfway through there, but let me give you a more thorough definition. A lot of organizations today, they have something in place, and mostly, to be honest, it's either a collection of Word documents, spreadsheets, maybe even some things on SharePoint out there, and you have this data in different systems. You absolutely can reuse that content within the Pinnacle series. You could either link right to it, so you can build a link very, very easily through a workflow or a cheat sheet, or even in the videos list, and you can link right to that Word document, or that spreadsheet, PDF file, you name it, or even to SharePoint. You can link right to SharePoint. Additionally, though, we have an import structure in place. So if you have a collection of Word documents out there, and you would define those Word documents in cheat sheets, in my terminology, it's a simple click, you import those all in, and it's brought into the system. So there's a couple different ways to do that, but the key is, we want to get this data into one simple place to use it. So our recommendation would be get it in there one way or the other so that people have very easy access to those documents that are already in existence. Great question. Okay, I have a question here. Let me read this out loud here from Catherine. We are a very small company with basically one CAD BIM user and a limited and specific application. It seems Pinnacle would not actually be appropriate for our needs. Do you agree? How much does Pinnacle Series cost? Great question, Catherine. It's probably going through a lot of people's minds out there. The Pinnacle Series is a very interesting solution, right? It's got all of these different features and resources that we got through a lot of them today, but not all of them. Does it make sense for my organization? Does it make sense for me as a small one-person shop? The answer to that question is maybe. And I say that with this in mind, Catherine. So if that one user is a power user, knows, I'm going to assume Revit in your case, knows Revit very, very well, has no questions ever, doesn't need ongoing training for that, to be quite honest with you, that one user probably doesn't need Pinnacle. If that user struggles though, and they have questions about the Autodesk technology every once in a while, and they need some ongoing training, Pinnacle might be a very perfect solution for your case. And we have it priced so that for a one user shop, it's very cost effective to have that ongoing access to those cheat sheets and training materials for that one user. Does every single bell and whistle matter to them? Probably not. Now let's flip the coin. The largest of the large firms out there, or people with 10 users and above, every resource in Pinnacle may make sense for them because now you have this idea of wanting to capture knowledge, assign training, and all of that. So there's different plays, honestly, for Pinnacle in different size companies. It just depends what situation you're in. So it's not a one-size-fits-all solution, and that's where we need to work together. The Microdesk reps there have a very good knowledge of the Pinnacle series, and we can work with you to see whether it is a good fit or not. As for the question on cost there, let me defer that one because it's different, obviously, depending on the size of the organizations, Catherine. So let me defer that to the sales reps. Please get in contact with them. They'll be able to answer that question, no problem. Okay, question here. I guess this is a follow-up question on something here. Where are the files stored? So everything stored in Pinnacle is in the cloud. However, your internal files, if you wanted to link to internal standards documents, checklists, spreadsheets, those can be kept behind your firewall if you would like. But if you want it out there, you can put it up to the cloud. It's an option in the Pinnacle series, and that makes it accessible, obviously, anywhere. The important thing to note when you talk about the cloud is security. So there's not enough time to talk about the whole architecture and security of this. Let me just put it this way. Each organization has their private area, their private tenant with the Pinnacle series. It's very secure and private to that one organization. Nobody else has access to that.